Now hold on. I thought Tony and Steve had this all figured out years ago. Oh, it's not that Civil War? Alex Garland? A24? You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is my review for Civil War. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Civil War is a 2024 action science fiction film from director Alex Garland. In a dystopian future America, a team of military-equipped journalists races against time to reach Washington, D.C., before rebel factions descend upon the White House. The film stars Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Kaylee Spaney, Stephen McKinley Henderson, and Nick Offerman. So Alex Garland had me hooked after his first two feature films because I absolutely adore Ex Machina, because who doesn't? And personally, I also adore Annihilation. And then Men happened. And well, let's just say I very much did not adore Men. So when Civil War came around, the trailers looked really promising. Any sort of politically charged dystopian type of America is interesting to me, though I also get very nervous at how it's going to be handled as well. So when I heard overwhelmingly positive praise coming out of South by Southwest, I did notice a few very concerning dissenters amongst that. So I went into tonight's screening with as open of a mind as I could possibly have, ready to take this film for what it was. And unfortunately, it was not really for me. While I appreciate the absolute expertise in filmmaking, this film was surprisingly just hollow. Nothing inside. So, let's go ahead and talk about those positives first. Alex Garland once again proves that he is a very capable director. As a visionary behind the camera, he can bring something to life. He creates this world, aided beautifully by the technical elements. It is such a well-mounted film. The cinematography is absolutely stunning. The different shot compositions and selections is also very good. The sound design is amazing. I saw this at the IMAX Early Access event, and the utilization of the sound design in IMAX formats is, oh, perfection. The budget was around $50 million for this, and they put it all on that screen because it looks beautiful. There are some absolute breathtaking shots in this film. I also really loved both the original score and the kind of soundtrack music that was implemented here. I thought it was gorgeous and really added to the atmosphere. And with that, all of that combined, I do think Garland does a nice job of creating a really uncomfortable atmosphere for the viewer. You are always on edge in this film. So as kind of a thriller type of film, it works in atmospheric tone. The performances are all also very good. Kirsten Dunst is great as Lee, a very restrained performance, though I do have to say her character goes somewhere in the third act that I was trying to reconcile with. But as a performer, I think she does a really good job. Kaylee Spaney is also very good in this film. And then we have like Stephen McKinley Henderson, who's basically the heart of it all. So if it does all of these things right, why didn't I enjoy the film more? Let's go ahead and talk about the negatives. Well, the biggest negative is that I came out of Civil War asking, what was the point? What really was the purpose of this film? You have a film titled Civil War that has a lot of political overtones, but that's it. They're just kind of overtones. It's just backdrop. It's just set dressing. There is literally nothing beneath the surface on anything this film has to say. And that's a really interesting choice. You're supposed to kind of take the viewpoint of the journalists here, this kind of neutral, I guess, viewpoint as a viewer that is just observing rather than feeling, if you will. It didn't work for me at all, to be honest. One, I didn't really care about most of the characters. I didn't care about this war because they literally don't tell you why it's happening, what's the basis, what even started this thing. We know that California and Texas make up the Western Alliance? Yeah, I need to know what it was that brought California and Texas together to rebel against the nation. I need that backstory. And honestly, I need to know why the Civil War is being fought. The film does not tell you at all, any kind of way. And I know maybe some people will think that's a positive. Oh, you just need to be spoon fed everything. Well, yeah, I need to be spoon fed the basic back premise of why this film is even happening. Because as it is, I don't care. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what's going on. Even if you are a neutral party in the war itself as a journalist, you know why it started. You know the basis of what happened. And we as a viewer don't. We're left completely out in the lurch. The characters themselves are okay. Lee is by far the most interesting of the characters. And oh my gosh, Kaylee Spaney's character, I couldn't stand her. I'm sorry, y'all. And what happens in that third act, it was really frustrating to me. Because this girl at that point had really already kind of pressed a couple buttons for me. And then what she does near the end of this film really sent me over the edge on her. And it's a character you're really supposed to empathize with and you understand where she ends up. Ugh. Instead, it just annoyed me. The ending of this film just kind of annoyed me. I left feeling gross, but not in the good ways, to be honest. And it all just comes down to that really kind of basic thing is there's no commentary here. It's just, hey, look at this made up story we have that sort of kind of resembles some real life stories, some real world events that took place or are literally currently taking place right now on planet Earth that we live on and occupy, but has nothing to say about it, has no insight. The deepest insight that Civil War gives us is war is bad and gruesome and violent. Civil unrest is ugly and some of the worst type of war to be had, also bloody and violent. And journalism is hard and sometimes dangerous. And I'm going to be honest, I think that third sticking point is a big reason critics, by and large, and journalists, by and large, really are identifying with this film because it's about kind of the hard work of journalism, particularly war journalism, war photo journalism. But honestly, I don't think it paints journalists in the greatest light either. So there's that. It really tries to present a neutral view here, but at the cost of its own storytelling, at the cost of its own world building. So to be honest, it kind of just underscores the real world versions of this, some of which are right here homegrown in the United States that are not to this level, obviously. Others happening overseas in Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, in Africa, all around the world, South America, or unrest disputes happening that mirror this type of warfare in their countries. And when you create a fictional movie like this and just try to present it as this blank slate fictional tale without any depth to it, I really actually find it to undercut the real world struggles that people are going through. So for me, I needed a viewpoint. I needed something. I needed, at the very least, to know what this Civil War was about. For a movie that really sold itself on some sort of political commentary that literally titled itself Civil War, I was very disappointed to find it completely lacking any sort of commentary. Politics are there, but commentary is nowhere to be found. So for me, Civil War was actually quite a disappointment. I know many have this at the top of their list. They're saying masterpiece, best of the year, all of the big buzzwords. Unfortunately, I don't fall in that camp, and I left the film wondering, what was the point? What was the purpose of that? I don't really know. It's beautifully made, extremely well crafted filmmaking, and makes for a tense watch, but one that just doesn't have anything under that gun-fueled exterior. So that was my review for Civil War. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Civil War, or did you see it either at South by Southwest or at an early access screening? Let me know all of your thoughts and comments either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.